The history of Indonesian Constitution Day, which is today, August 18th. Happy Constitution Day. And immigration reminds adult children of mixed marriages to immediately choose citizenship if you're 21 years of age. Stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is August 18th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. What is the weather like today in Bali? Pretty nice, 29 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees humidity. Wind speed is 12.4 kilometers per hour. A little hazy, but beautiful as usual up here in Kampung Bugis. And I hope the weather is good wherever you are. And I'm back. Yes, I've been gone for a while. I had an accident and I've been recovering for the last, 4 or 5 days, 5 days, I guess. And well, not a motorcycle accident, pretty strange one, but I did learn a lesson from it. And so if you want to hear about this, well, stay tuned at the end and I will describe it. Otherwise, I think most people go, yeah, so what? But it did hurt. I've been in pain for a while. I have not responded to any comments. You know, I usually respond to comments, but I just have not done it because, well, I couldn't type. And so, sorry for that. I will respond to comments about today. Okay, let's get started. Indonesian Constitution Day, August 18th. That's today. History and its meaning. So Constitution Day is celebrated every August 18th. This commemoration was established on September 10th, 2008 by former President Bambang Yudhoyono. And this was by Presidential Decree number 18. So even though this is Constitution Day, it is not a national holiday. So kids are in school, hooray, banks are open. Want to know something interesting about the history and the meaning of commemorating Indonesian Constitution Day? Well, August 18th, 1945 was the first time the Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia, or the 1945 Constitution, was promulgated by the Preparatory Committee for the Indonesian Independence. The process of formulating the Constitution began on 29th of May, 1945, and went through 16th of June, 1945. They quickly wrote the Constitution. And the Constitution provided the foundations for the state, and the Constitution was used to govern Indonesia after independence. As you know, yesterday was Independence Day, 78th anniversary of independence. So on August 18th, 1945, the Committee of Nine, led by the first president, Sukarno, and Muhammad Hatta, the first vice president, announced the text of the Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia, known as the Preamble to the 1945 Constitution. The preamble contains several basic principles of the state, including Pancasila as the basis of state ideology. After the independence of the Republic of Indonesia, the need for a constitution could no longer be negotiated and had to be formulated immediately so that Indonesia would become a sovereign country. The 1945 Constitution was inaugurated as the Indonesian Constitution by the Preparatory Committee for Indonesian Independence. Since being established as the Indonesian Constitution, the Constitution has undergone several changes or amendments, both in terms of name, material substance contained, as well as the validity period. There were a number of changes, and I'm not going to go into those now. You can easily find those up on Wikipedia. The commemoration of Indonesian Constitution Day has several meanings. These include remembering the history of independence. Constitution Day reminds us of the historic date of 18 August 1945, when the Constitution of the Republic of Indonesia was first promulgated. Maybe I'll get that right sometime. This is an important moment in the journey of Indonesia's independence from colonialism. Raising constitutional awareness. Constitution Day provides an opportunity to raise public awareness of the importance of the country's basic law in running a good and just government and upholding human rights. Encouraging learning and education of the Constitution. This celebration promotes efforts to increase understanding of the Constitution among the younger generation and the whole society. Constitutional education is important so that citizens understand their rights and obligations and their role in a democratic system. Awareness of the importance of law and justice. Constitution Day also reminds us of the importance of having a strong and convincing legal framework to maintain justice and balance in society. Strengthening national identity. This celebration is a moment to celebrate national identity and cultural and ethnic diversity in Indonesia, which are respected and recognized in the Constitution. Overall, Constitution Day of the Republic of Indonesia is a day to remind us of the importance of the Constitution as the legal and moral foundation of the country, as well as to celebrate the struggles and aspirations of the Indonesian people in achieving independence, democracy, and prosperity. Happy Constitution Day. Okay, second major story. Children in Bali resulting from Indonesia foreign marriages are urged to immediately choose citizenship. The Ministry of Law and Human Rights encourages children in Bali who've entered the age of 21, the result of mixed marriages between Indonesian citizens and foreign citizens, to immediately choose citizenship status before May 31st, 2024. This appeal follows the enactment of Government Regulation PP number 21 of 2022 concerning amendments to Government Regulation number 2 of 2007 concerning procedures for obtaining a loss of cancellation and regarding citizenship of the Republic of Indonesia. So as you know, kids now can be dual citizens up until the age of 18. Then they have 3 years to report and make a choice of which one they're going to do. However, apparently there are a number of children who have reached the age of 21 who have not made the choice yet. And he said, you need to make it. This is before the date that I just mentioned, next year. The head of the Bali Regional Office, Pak Angiat, said that by May 31st, 2024, if the choice has not been made, it will be considered as being made and the children will be given foreigner status. And dual citizenship is over, and so is your right to be an Indonesian citizen. In the future, he said, children with dual citizenship will be limited because of their parents' mixed marriages. And so they will become purely foreigners on that date. And then you'll have to go through a long process in order to become an Indonesian again. He said they will be treated as foreigners because that's the rule. He said Bali is one of the areas where many mixed marriages are practiced, so that many children still have not chosen their citizenship, even though they're in that 18 to 21 year range. And my children had to go through this. And if you're an American citizen, it is expensive giving up your citizenship. When we did it with my youngest child, it was $2,300, if I remember right. The choice of citizenship, according to Pak Angiat, is to avoid problems with population administration and the child citizenship status. According to his records, up to now, there have been 80 children from mixed marriages who have processed their citizenship to become pure citizens. I guess my daughter is one of them, my youngest daughter. So it is a hassle, right? I've done it. It's a hassle. It's a pain in the butt. But it's a lot better than it used to be when there was no dual citizenship. When my kids were younger, there was none, and there were foreigners, and I had to pay every year for their kitas. So it got better, but you got to give this up. And I talked about dual citizenship before, and is it going to happen? Well, not in the near future. What about the air in Ubud? Regent finds out why Ubud's air is called worse than Jakarta. The air quality of Ubud is called unhealthy based on the records of IQAir.com website. On Wednesday, Ubud's air quality was rated at 155 at 9 o'clock in the morning. At that hour, it was said to be worse than Jakarta's, which was 158. And Jakarta's is terrible. On Thursday, the air condition recorded directly on site at 2 o'clock was rated as good. It was down to 25. And at 11:30 earlier, it was 62. The Gianyar Regent Imade Maharashtra admitted that he was still trying to find out the accuracy of the air quality as recorded by IQAir.com. According to him, there's no factories in Ubud. to damage the air quality. Indeed, he said in Ubud, well, it's prone to traffic jams and vehicle pollution. However, there's less vehicles than in Denpasar. So why is the air quality worse in Ubud? Congestion in Ubud, he said, is due to small roads, lots of vehicles, traffic jams every day because tourists are busy at this time, wandering around the city. The Regent explained that Ubud is actually very beautiful with lots of green open spaces. Rice fields and trees thrive in every place. And in the vicinity, there's also flowing rivers and forests. He said, if there is a barometer indicating bad air quality, we will find out the cause. Then we will discuss it with those who understand it. Good idea. He emphasized that the Gianyar Regency government also continues to make various efforts to overcome traffic jams in the Ubud area. For example, banning parking on the side of the road, and for stubborn people, the vehicle's tires, he said, will be deflated. That should be a deterrent. Currently, large temporary parking pockets have been provided in the Ubud Square area. The district government is also currently managing the Ubud area, including central parking and thematic markets. It's targeted to be completed next year. So there's going to be more parking in Ubud, I guess. And why is there pollution in Ubud? Seems to be a mystery. Okay, what about rabies in Bali? Australia donates 200,000 rabies vaccines to Bali. All right, good on you. I think that's an Australian phrase, right? The vaccine assistance is provided by the Australian Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestries through the World Organization for Animal Health. The vaccine will focus on accelerating vaccination in areas with high cases of rabies, such as Bulalang, right here, Jembrana, Badung, and Karangasem. That's where we have the most rabies right now. Australian Consul General in Bali, Anthea Griffin, said the cooperation in the field of animal health between Australia and Indonesia has indeed been well established for a long time. And Australia is very supportive of Indonesia in alleviating rabies. She said the Australian government's deeply saddened by the case of deaths due to rabies in Bali. Australia hopes that the grant of 400,000 rabies vaccines can maximize the government of Indonesia in suppressing rabies cases. And in particular, so Bali's received 200,000 now in 2023, and in 2024, they will get another 200,000 from Australia. And these can be utilized and distributed properly to the community. The deputy governor commented that currently rabies alert teams have been formed in 4 regencies: Bulalang with 147 villages and 1 sub-district, Jembrana with 18 villages, Karangasem with 41 villages, and Badung with just 1 village. Wow, there's a big difference between Badung and Bulalang. The formation of these teams is a result of cooperation between the provincial government of Bali and the Australia-Indonesia Health Security Partnership to support efforts to accelerate rabies eradication in the province of Bali. In 2023, the provincial government of Bali will allocate 480,000 doses of rabies vaccine. Total rabies vaccination coverage in the province in Bali has reached 70% and is in accordance with the joint commitment that by 2024 there will be no more fatalities due to rabies here on the island of the gods. Various efforts and strategies have been made to accelerate the eradication of rabies in all districts and cities throughout Bali, including education, vaccination, starting from mass vaccination, emerging vaccination, sweeping, and then also carrying out elimination. And until now, even though all that's been going on, the island is not free of rabies. The 6 strategies are running simultaneously and continuously, according to the deputy governor. And so let's hope that that's going to work. Initially, Bali province was one of the areas that was historically free of rabies, but the rabies emerged in Bali in 2008, according to this news article in South Kuta. Bali status has changed to become a rabies-infected area in Indonesia. That sounds like zombie-infected area. And so rabies quickly spread through the Denpasar area, and then by 2009, it was all over the island. Okay, let's get rid of the rabies. We've got a lot of dogs out there wandering the streets. Always concerns me. And deportation. Hit American Caucasian Russian foreigner deported. Denpasar Immigration Detention Center officers deported a foreign citizen, a Russian, with the initials IG through the Norai International Airport on Wednesday, 2 days ago. The foreigner was deported for hitting a citizen, and he was also imprisoned. The head of the Denpasar Immigration Detention Center explained that based on the judge's decision, the Russian foreigner had committed a crime so that immigration had the authority to carry out immigration administrative measures in the form of deportation. Apart from being deported, the foreigner was also put on a blacklist. According to authorities and Article 102 of Law Number 6 of 2011 concerning immigration, deterrence can be carried out for a maximum of 6 months, and each time can be extended after that. Additionally, a life ban can be imposed on foreigners who consider to disturb security and public order. However, according to the spokesperson, a decision on further deterrence will be decided by the Directorate General of Immigration by looking at and considering all the cases. So the Russian who was deported entered Indonesia in November through Jakarta Airport using a visit visa, and on November 19th, driving a car, he hit an American woman in Batu Bolong area in North Kuta. And at that time, he was responsible for bringing the woman to a clinic. However, a week later, the victim's lover approached him and asked for compensation in the amount of $280,000 US. Otherwise, he was going to report it to the police. So he didn't have the money. He was reported to the police. The police arrested him at that time, but they didn't detain him. They took him to jail. They let him go. Then they came back and got him in January. They held him for 6 days, and they let him go again and go home until trial. However, while he was out, on February 8th, he had another accident. And at this time, he had broken legs and arms and was unconscious for 3 days and had to be treated in the hospital for 10 days. After leaving the hospital, he had to continue his legal process and was sentenced to 6 months in prison because he'd been legally and convincingly proven to have committed the crime, namely driving a motorized vehicle which, due to his negligence, resulted in a traffic accident which resulted in other people being seriously injured. After he served his detention, he was released on August 10th, immediately secured to the detention center, and the deportation process was started, and he's out. And you can see in the image, he's being pushed in a wheelchair on the way out. I would not drive anywhere down there where you've got all these foreigners now driving cars and motorbikes like loonies. I'll stick with the local loonies up here in Buleleng. Okay, so that is it. Now, if you stuck around this long, what about my accident? Okay, I don't know if you can see this. You know, it always drives me crazy when people on these Bali forums go, yeah, look at this. And they show some disgusting thing on their hand or arm or leg or crotch or whatever and go, what is this? Who can help me? A doctor can. Go see a doctor. Well, I did go see a doctor. So I got this here. I don't know if you can see that. And a sprained finger. How did this happen? Well, this is the lesson that I learned. So what happened is I was getting Zoe a new bicycle because she's a big girl and she wanted a big girl bike. And I sat down on one of those little plastic stools, you know, that are about 75 centimeters high. And while I was waiting for them to put her bike together. And one of the legs broke off and I went, oh, ouch, falling. And I stuck my arm out and, well, scraped along. And you know, if you've watched my videos before, that the sidewalks on Jalan Diponegoro are trash. And so I cut myself up. I tried to get up again and another leg broke off and I went back down again. And this time I banged my elbow as well and my hip. And so, well, the guy that owned the shop, who I've known for a long time, said, are you okay? And I said, Oh yeah, Zoe started crying. So she said, "There's blood all over you," and there was, and it was painful. And what did I learn? Never sit on a plastic seat without looking at it first and testing it. This has never happened to me in 34 years in Indonesia, which, by the way, my 34th anniversary today. 34 years ago, I came to Indonesia, and I'm still here. Amazing. And so, yeah, I did check with medical person. Fortunately, I have an elder daughter who is a nurse, and so we did some online consulting. You know, she took a look from my phone, and she said, "Oh, that looks terrible. You need to put stuff on it." And I said, "Your mother is already putting some traditional medicine on it, and it is getting better." So, word of advice, if you're going to sit down on something plastic, make sure it's going to hold you and it is not already rotted anyway. That's what I've been doing for the last 5 days, is relaxing, because my arm is still really, really sore. Okay, so that's it. If you make comments on the last video, thanks. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.